So anyway, I got multiple confessions to them watching my social media, and I'm talking about most of the people who run the Miller Center. I'm not going to go into all of them because there's so many, but I posted something about, I'll go to Georgia and then come back later. And then Saturday night, this, I don't know what her ethnicity is. I'm just going to call her indigenous. She's much darker than me, but she's indigenous to some continent, but she has a Spanish accent, so I don't know what country she's from. But she's sort of pretending to be a liaison between myself and Paul Dragon. And she came by my bunk to talk to me about something. I don't remember what it was. And I said, my father's the target. I need to get to Georgia and talk with my father because he's the real target here. And she said, well, maybe you can just go down for a little while and then come back. And, the people at the food shelf can help you with the ticket. So she quoted my social media. So she basically was quoting so what the fuck are you doing watching my social media? Then all three of them, the director of the pods, Sarah Russell, and her, the indigenous lady, acting like a liaison, kind of acting like a victim's advocate, walked in there Sunday, and there was, the moon was very bold, and I went and took pictures of it. When I walked in, I was like, I set them up, and they fell for it. I said, yeah, I took my hand out of my glove for a few seconds to take pictures of the moon, and now my hand's frozen. And they basically said, now only one of them said it, but they were speaking for all three. Oh, can't wait to see the pictures of the moon. And I blew it off like nothing and went ahead and signed the paper and waited for them to ask to see my phone, and none did. So they were referring to my social media. Then some guy, I really didn't even know his name. He's not like he's a close friend, but they wouldn't know that. I was actually asking somebody else about something. He and I were going to go stand in line at the other warming center. I didn't know it was COTS at the time. And he had to go talk to somebody, and it was a Howard Center office that was like behind the Church Street Church. It wasn't on Elmwood Avenue. You go over another block, and I think it was behind the church. I didn't even know they had an office back there. I don't know what it was. And the guy that they assaulted with Narcan, anyway, he was there. This was before they Narcaned him. I think was this Friday or was it Saturday? I think this was Friday. Yeah, because there was no no, it wasn't Friday. It was before that. It was like sometime like, I think it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday. It was before they opened up for this weekend for the cold weather. And I didn't even realize he was going to be there. And he goes, oh, there you are. And, we were being very friendly and everything. And the people from Howard Center came out and they're like, oh, we're getting ready to close. And I'm like, I'm not here to see you. I'm not one of your patients. And so the people from Howard Center saw us talking. And I guess they automatically assumed that he was a friend of mine. And they've already killed several people that I barely knew. Now, Brandy and Ben and Brandy, we had a little more history, and so did Alfonso, but there's 2 other people that I barely had a history with that are gone. Just disappeared off the face of the earth. Anybody I talk to, for any length of time, even if it's just once, they get harassed, they get tased, they get maced, they get no trespassed. I mean, sometimes they'll even, like that little bow-legged guy, CSA guy, whatever the hell, he'll walk up and harass them right when I'm talking to him. He's done that several times when I'm talking to somebody. So anyway, the director of the pods, the lady with the red hair and glasses, Sunday, she unnecessarily Narcan this guy. That's a fucking assault. I didn't see it. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if he was falling asleep. A lot of people do that. It doesn't take much to wake them up. And as long as they can wake up and say something, then they just leave them alone. They don't Narcan them. The only time you Narcan them is when they're completely fucking unresponsive. Okay, I don't think this lady's a nurse, this director of the pods. There was 2 nurses from Safe Harbor there. If you thought somebody was truly ODing and needed to be injected with Narcan, why not bring the nurses in? Why not let them do it, since they're licensed professionals in that type of shit? And then he starts cussing her out, and she chases him down all over the fucking building, trying to convince him why she was justified in assaulting him. That's victim tampering. She's supposed to, and everybody there is watching this. All of the staff who are supposed to be advocates of the homeless and the vulnerable, not a single one of them told her, got Mr. Dragon there, told her to fucking leave, and got somebody there to counsel him and ask him if he wanted to file a police report or launch any type of investigation. Not one of them. They all watched her chase him down and tamper with him as her assault victim. And this went on for quite a while. That means they're all guilty. The only thing I saw going on between all of them was nepotism and everybody covering each other's asses. And they'll trivialize it. And they'll demonize him with their Joe Biden crime bill rhetoric and shaming devices about any medical issues he may have, which I'm not going to go into. I'm just going to say he's quite a vulnerable adult. Most people there wouldn't realize that somebody Narcanning them unnecessarily would constitute a physical assault. How it would be charged in the state of Vermont, I don't know. But as a phlebotomist, I know if a doctor ordered me to go get blood and that person said, no, you're not, I can't touch them. I have to walk out and go let the nurse know or whoever they refused. Period. They have the right to do that. I remember the guy who trained me was a hospital administrator. And he was talking about, that's why you have to sign a consent to treat. Now, keep in mind, these motherfuckers went online, pretended to be me, and got Vermont Medicaid in my name. And then they've been using these PIs, some of them trained by Dr. Lincoln, to chase me down and steer me right back to them so they could cover their own ass. And this director of the pods has been housing some of these people and probably getting them apartments. And then using them at either Miller Center or the Social Security building, the old Social Security building run by COTS, that winter shelter. And I'm talking about Jessa, have her go in there, even though she's got a fucking apartment, give her a bed and have her set people up so she can kick them out. Take drugs from them and then go tell on them for being in possession of drugs, which that had to be COTS because the Miller Center doesn't kick people out for being, they don't care. So I didn't see anybody under threat. I didn't see any of those people as they were committing those felonies and letting her commit her felonies and then them not doing shit about it. They committed felonies. They allowed it. They were all complicit in enabling her. I didn't see any of them under duress. None of them. And he was being pretty loud about his allegations. Did he say the word assault? He wouldn't think to say that. But he cussed her. He was pissed as fuck, and I don't blame him. Now, she's mandated by law to self-report what she did. She has to self-report that she assaulted him, and she has to self-report that she chased him down and tried to convince him that she was justified in assaulting him. That's victim tampering, which is exactly what all of them are accused of anyway. Now the question is, are they going to self-report? And I don't think Mr. Dragon's the appropriate person to self-report to, since they're all involved. It's criminal. And it sure looked like they were setting this guy up for when they poison him with fentanyl and kill him later. Is probably what they're going to do. Especially since they're eager to get me on a bus to Georgia. Then they're going to tie up a bunch of loose ends here. They're going to kill all these people. That means Autumn. That means Becky. That means Ranger Preston. That means everybody that fucked up is going to get killed. And her Autumn's father, whoever Becky's relatives are in the military, the homeless people that they coerced into it, they'll kill me either as soon as I get out of the county line or across state line. They'll kill my father, kill his wife. God knows what they'll do down there. So if you can all stick together to cover her ass on her felonies, why can't you all stick together to make sure I get victim services? You know, I went into Champlain Place and filled out the paperwork, and I put on there that I was domestic violence trafficking victim and it was tied to Epstein. I think I put one of Epstein's defense attorneys. And it said, can we contact Steps on your behalf? And I put yes. Then some lady comes in, and the guy who was there was talking to her, and I said, yeah, I had a hotel room, and when I called to renew it, they told me that Motel 6 doesn't take vouchers anymore, and they said that to somebody, and they told me they don't take people with disabilities. And the lady was like, well, there's just all kinds of silliness going on. Okay, when I'm reporting a crime to you, especially victim tampering by statespeople, you're not supposed to ignore it and act like you don't hear it. You're not supposed to trivialize and minimalize it. You're mandated by law to take a report on any waste, fraud, and abuse and report it to the proper authorities, especially when it's criminal and it's tied to Epstein. You don't blow smoke up my ass and offer me pizza and send me out to die in the cold. This motherfucker, I don't know who he belongs to. He's somebody's PI. He was over at the McDonald's by Motel 6, and now he's here. And he ain't no schizo. He speaks too clearly, and he says the same thing over and over again because he can't think of anything new to say. And it's usually all kinds of racial slurs and all kinds of crap. Just mostly a bunch of bigoted slurs. I'm not going to repeat them, but he just says it over and over and over again. And it's real schizophrenics that have a speech impediment. You can't really understand what they say. And when they do say something, the words they string together doesn't add up to anything. It's like a bunch of words that make no sense whatsoever. All he does is cuss. Somebody that isn't there, you can tell he's not truly schizophrenic. I just don't know whether he's who he works for. So I gotta keep an eye on that. So anyway, yeah, gotcha. I blow smoke better than you all do. You watch me nail Meredith. So I don't know how Mr. Dragon responds is going to tell you exactly whether he's involved in this or whether he knows nothing about it, whether he's been completely duped by all of them,